Hello viewers, I am Dr. Ajay Kumar Misra. Welcome you all to my YouTube channel named Computer the Way of Life. Today the topic of interest is network devices and their role in communication. During my presentation, I will try to brief the concept of network and network devices, their role in communication, their characteristics and limitations with a neat diagram. I will also try to emphasize some of the examples which will help the users to have an in-depth idea about it. Friends, we all are well acquainted with the term internet. Internet is termed as the information superhighway. In internet, the performance of communication is basically depends on algorithm, protocols used, and the devices used to connect the computers and other devices placed locally or globally. The performance communication is influenced by many factors such as geographical limitations, materials used in the devices, distance of communication, bandwidth available, and the devices used to provide the network facility. To meet the diverse issue and to overcome the challenges of geographical heterogeneity, fading up of communication signals, and the different architectures used to connect the computer and other peripheral devices, we need different types of network devices. These network devices are actually providing a platform to work with and making it feasible to provide the connectivity in a diverse environment. Now it's a time to discuss about network devices. Network devices are also called communication devices or network equipment. It is also known as networking hardware. These are the components used to connect computers or other peripherals devices or the electronic devices together so that they can communicate and interact among themselves and can share files and resources. Specifically, they mediate data in a computer network. Units which are the last receiver or generate data are called host or data terminal equipments. Commonly used networking devices are hub, switch, bridge, router, repeater, gateway, then modem, Ethernet, multiplexer, network interface card, this is also known as controller, and finally router. First, we will discuss about hub. Hub is a networking device used to connect multiple devices together and making them to act as a single network segment by physically connecting them together. It is designed to transmit the packets to the other appended devices without altering any of the transmitted packets received. It works at the physical layer, that is layer 1 of the OSI model. It is basically used in networks that uses twisted pair cables to connect devices. It simply splits input data it receives on one interface, that is port, to all its other interfaces at the output ports. For example, if a packet of data arrives on interface 1 of an 8-port hub, the hub will blindly copy that data out the interfaces 2, 3, 4 to 8 rest of the ports. It acts as pathway to direct electrical signals to travel along the transmits the information regardless of the fact that the data packet is destined for the device connected or not. Hubs are obsolete today and replaced by network switches. Hubs are categorized under two broad heads. Number 1, active hub, and number 2, passive hub. Active hubs are also termed as repeaters. They are smarter than the passive hub. They regenerate, concentrate, and strengthen the signals before sending them to their destinations and also provide the path for the data signals. Then passive hub. Passive hubs are more like a point of contact for the wires to build in the physical network. They have nothing to do with modifying the signals. In addition to this, there is another hub known as Ethernet hub, which is used to connect multiple Ethernet devices together and allow them to perform the functions as a single unit. It communicates in hard duplex mode and uses carrier sense multiple access with collision detection to control media access. The characteristics: it is a cheap and easy way to link multiple computers. Then it uses half duplex mode of communication, that is only one computer can communicate at a time. Then when more computers are working simultaneously, it gets busy and an intended user has to wait for a longer time. In the adjacent diagram, we can observe a hub having 4 ports. In this, through one port data arrives and rest 3 are used as output ports. Next is a switch. A switch is a networking device that connects devices together on a computer network by using packet switching mode to receive, process, and forward data to the destination device. Unlike hub, a switch forwards data only to one or multiple devices that need to receive it. A switch does so by having an inbuilt learning or intelligence of the machine access control address of the devices connected to it. Depending on the requirement of the users in horsepower, switches are available in different shapes and sizes. Following method will elucidate the data transmission via switches. First, cut through transmission, then store and forward, then fragment free. In case of cut through transmission, the packets received will be forwarded to the next switch as soon as possible. This method is prompt and quick, but the possibility of error checking gets overlooked. Then store and forward. In this, the entire packets are received and checked before being forwarded ahead, by which the errors are eliminated before being propagated further, but slow down the processing and delivering process. Then fragment free. In a fragment free switching environment, a greater part of the packet is examined so that the switch can determine whether the packet has been caught up in a collision. After the collision status is determined, the packet is forwarded. Now the characteristics of switch. Switch operates in a full duplex mode by which devices can send and receive data simultaneously. Then the transmission speed has increased in case of switch in compared to Ethernet hub by transferring a 20 megabits per second connection into 30 megabits per second and a 200 megabits per second connection to become 300 megabit per second. Then data transmission and signals are well defined in a switch, which enhances the performance of the network. We can have a look of the switch in the adjacent diagram. Next networking device is bridge. A bridge is a networking device that is used to connect two similar LAN topologies and use the same protocol. It works at the data link layer of the OSM model and connects the different networks together. It forwards data based on a physical address. Sometimes it is also used to segment larger networks into smaller portions. The bridge does so by placing itself between the two portions of two physical networks and controlling the flow of data between them. Bridge nominates to forward the data after inspecting into the media access control address of the devices connected to every segment. The forwarding of the data is depending on the acknowledgement of the fact that the destination address resides on some other interface. It has the capacity to block the incoming flow of data as well. Bridges can categorize under 3 broad heads. Number 1, source root bridge, transparent bridge, and translation bridge. First, we will discuss about source root bridge. It gets its name from the fact that the data packets contain the path information inside the packet that takes through the network. It is mainly used in token ring networks. Next is a transparent bridge. As the name signifies, it appears to be transparent for the other devices on the network. The other devices are ignorant of its existence. It only blocks or forwards the data as per the MAC address. To do so, they built a table of addresses as they receive packets. If the address is not in the bridging table, the packet is forwarded to all segments other than one it came from. This type of bridge is used on Ethernet networks. Then translation bridge. Translation bridge converts the data format of one networking to another and allow two networks of different architectures to be connected. The process of conversion takes place via translation bridge, for instance, token ring to Ethernet and its vice versa. The characteristics of bridge: first, expands the distance of a segment. Next, provides the facilities to increase the number of computers on the network. Then, reduce traffic bottlenecks resulting from an excessive number of attached computers. In the adjacent diagram, we can observe there are three different segments: manufacturing database server, corporate, and manufacturing. They all are kept apart but depending on one another. Here, bridge provides the connectivity and enables them for successful communication. Next networking device is router. Router is used to connect several network segments or LANs using different topologies and protocols. It provides the connectivity to a larger TCP/IP network, and without the use of network routers and TCP/IP routing protocols, the internet would not have become as extensive. It works at the network layer of OSI model. When a router receives the data, it reads the header of the packet and determines the destination address. Once the address is determined, it searches in its routing table to get the best possible route to reach the destination and then forwards the packet to the higher hop on the route. Routers have access to more information in packets than bridge and use this information to improve packet deliveries. There are two ways by which a router receives information. First, static routing. Second, dynamic routing. In static routing, the routing information is fed into the routing tables manually. It is feasible for the situation where a minimum of one or two routers are used. It is time-taking and error-prone as we have to manually update the route. Dynamic routing. The dynamic routing process involves use of peculiar routing protocols to hold communication. The purpose of these protocols is to enable the other routers to transfer information to other routers so that the other routers can build their own routing tables. It is applicable for larger environment. Now, the characteristics. Routers are usually used in a complex network situation, that is networking having different topologies, as they provide better traffic management than bridge. Next, it can share status and routing information with one another and use this information to bypass slow or malfunctioning connections. Next, it only look at the network address and pass the information. This ability to control the data passing through the router reduces the amount of traffic between networks and allows routers to use these links more efficiently than bridge. Then, routers typically have a smaller number of physical ports than switches. They will also have more variety of ports including Ethernet, fiber, ISDN, serial, and modems. Modern routers usually have blades or modules that we can put into them to introduce different types of ports. Then routers do not send broadcast packets or corrupted packets. If the routing table does not indicate the proper address of a packet, the packet is discarded. Next networking device is repeaters. Repeaters came into existence with telegraph in 19th century and referred as relay, which was used to regenerate telephone signals. When signals travel along a network cable, they degrade and become distorted in a process is called attenuation. and if a cable is long enough, the attenuation will finally make a signal unrecognizable by the receiver. A repeater enables signal to travel longer distances over a network by regenerating the received signals and then retransmits the regenerated or conditioned signals on other segments. Repeaters works only at the physical layer of OSI model. There are different types of repeaters: telephone repeaters, optical repeaters, and radio repeaters. Apart from that, there are other repeaters known as analog repeaters and digital repeaters. We will discuss one after another. In case of telephone repeaters, it is used to increase the range of telephone signals in a long distance telephone lines. As telephone is a bidirectional communication system, the telephone repeaters also have to be bidirectional or bilateral amplification facilities. Next, optical repeater. Optical repeater is an optoelectronic circuit that amplifies the light beam in an optical fiber cable, by which range of signal increases. An optical repeater usually consists of a phototransistor which converts the light pulses to an electrical signal, an amplifier to increase the power of the signal. Next, radio repeaters. Radio repeaters is used to extend the coverage area of radio signals. A radio repeaters usually consist of a radio receiver connected to a radio transmitter. The received signal is amplified and retransmitted, often on another frequency, to provide coverage beyond the obstruction. Basing on the data type and they handle, a repeater is also divided, as we have discussed, analog repeater and digital repeater. Analog repeater is used to transmit data which uses analog signal in which the voltage or current is proportional to the amplitude of the signal, such as audio signal. Then digital repeater. This is used to transmit data in binary or digital signals in which the data is in the form of pulses with only two possible values, that is 1 and 0. Now their characteristics. Repeaters do not translate or transform anything. Next, to pass data through the repeater in a unusable fashion from one segment to another, the packets and the logical link control protocols must be the same. Then repeaters require a small amount of time to regenerate the signal. This can cause a propagation delay which can affect network communication when there are several repeaters in a row. Then many network architectures limit the number of repeaters that can be used in a row. Next networking device is gateway. Gateway allows communication between different architectures and environments. Gateway provides interface and compatibility between networks by converting data formats, transmission speed, protocols, codes, or security measures. It repackages and convert data going from one environment to another so that each environment can understand the other environment's data. Gateway generally operates at the application layer but also can operate at the network or session layer of OSI model, such as it can translate TCP/IP to AppleTalk, so computers supporting TCP/IP can communicate with Apple brand computers. Similarly, electronic mail gateways like X.400 gateway receive messages in one format and then translate it and forward in X.400 format used by the receiver and vice versa. A gateway links two systems that do not use the same communication protocols, data formatting structures, languages, and architectures. In the adjacent diagram, we can observe there are two different networks termed as network 1 and network 2 using two different protocols as protocol 1 and protocol 2. Here gateway provides the connectivity and making them compatible with each other, by which the communication between different topologies or different architecture is possible. Now it's the time to discuss about a very common networking device known as modem. To get connected to the internet or to communicate with other computers, we need a modem. Modem is the combination of two words, modulation and demodulation. Here, modulation is the process of converting the digital or binary signals at the sender side to its analog equivalents to transmit over the telephone networks, whereas demodulation is the reverse process of modulation, in which analog data is again reconverted to its original form at the receiver side. For example, computers communicating with another computer over a telephone network. While choosing a modem, speed is the major concern, that is measured in bits per second. If the modem is quicker, it will save time as well as money. The advantage of faster modems comes to light when files are transferred or downloaded. Nowadays, 33.6 kilobits per second modems are used commonly and will be soon replaced by 56.6 kilobits per second modems. There are two types of modems, internal modem and external modem. An internal modem slips into an expansion slot provided in the computer. The phone cord is plugged into a jack accessible through the back of the computer. The internal modem is less expensive than an external modem. Next, external modem. An external modem is placed outside a computer. The modem rests under the telephone that hooks the computer to the outside world. In the adjacent diagrams, we can have a look of the internal and external modems. Before using an external modem, it must be installed. Next networking device is Ethernet. Ethernet is a network device mainly used in LAN and sometimes in MAN and WAN. Ethernet LAN was developed in 1970 by Robert Metcalfe and David Boggs and was commercially introduced in 1980 and first standardized in 1983 by IEEE 802.3. Ethernet divides the stream of data into shorter pieces called frames. Each frame contains the addresses of source and destination and also helps in error checking of data that detects and discarded the damaged frames. Basing on the number of user and speed, Ethernet has 4 generations. First, standard Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabyte Ethernet and 10 gigabyte Ethernet. Standard Ethernet is the most common Ethernet that uses twisted pair to connect end systems and fiber optic cable for site backbones. It is standardized as IEEE 802.3. Prior to this, thick and thin net Ethernet was used that uses thin coaxial cable having a specification RG58A/U or RG58C/U, then fast Ethernet. To meet the transmission challenges faced by standard Ethernet, fast Ethernet came into existence. It increases the transmission rate up to 100 Mbps, and this new generation Ethernet was called fast Ethernet. It is so designed that it is compatible with the standard Ethernet. In this, a few features called auto negotiation was added, by which compatible devices can connect to one another, whereas most of layer remains unchanged. Then Gigabyte Ethernet. Gigabyte Ethernet was developed to meet the increasing demand of the higher data rate, which provides transmission speed of 1000 Mbps. IEEE committee call it the standard 502.3Z. It is compatible with standard or fast Ethernet and keeps the same minimum and maximum frame length. It also supports auto negotiation and use the same 48-bit addresses. Then 10 gigabyte Ethernet. It is also known as 10GE or 10GBE or 10 gig E. It is defined by IEEE 802.3AE in the year of 2000 standard. It is 1,000 times faster than standard Ethernet and supports only full duplex communication. In this, multi-mode fiber having 0.85 mu frequency is used for medium distances, and single mode fiber having 1.5 mu frequency is used for long distances. The characteristics of Ethernet: it provides connectionless and unreliable services. Next, it divides the stream of data in a smaller number of pieces called frame. Then each frame keeps the address of source and destination, and then it uses cyclic redundancy check to check error in data, detects and discarded the damaged frames. Now we will discuss about one of the important networking device named multiplexer. In networking, when more users are performing different tasks simultaneously with different bandwidth, the available communication channel has to be shared among themselves. Channel being an expensive resource must be optimized, and this is achieved by using multiplexer. The method of dividing a single physical channel into many logical channels so that a number of independent signals may be simultaneously transmitted on it is known as multiplexing, and this is done by a device called multiplexer. A multiplexer takes several data communication lines and channels and convert them into one data communication line at the sending location, whereas at the receiving end there is another device called demultiplexer which separate them into their original number of lines. Here the word link refers the physical path and the word channel refers the portion of a link that carries a transmission between a given path of lines. As a whole, we can say with the help of multiplexing, it is possible for a single transmission medium to concurrently transmit data between several transmitter and receivers. The working of multiplexer can be explained with the adjacent diagram. We can observe at the center side there is a multiplexer which combines n number of input lines to one and transmit that to the receiver side. At the receiver side, demultiplexer reconverts them to n number of origin lines. Here we can observe there is only one link used as n number of channels. Basing on the working, there are basically three types of multiplexing technique: frequency division multiplexing, time division multiplexing, and wavelength division multiplexing. In addition to this, there is another division known as carrier division multiple SS. We discuss one after another in details. First, frequency division multiplexing. Frequency division multiplexing is an analog technique used when the bandwidth of link in hertz is greater than the combined bandwidth of the signal to be transmitted. In this, the available bandwidth of a physical medium is split up into several smaller disjoint logical bandwidth, and each of the component bandwidth is used as a separate communication links. This is basically preferred for voice communication. For example, radio stations are assigned a frequency range within a bandwidth of radio frequencies. They all are transmitting speech signals simultaneously over the physical channel. The radio receiver's antenna receives signals transmitted by all the stations, and finally tuning dial in the radio is used to isolate the speech signal of the station tuned. It is widely used in case of amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, broadcasting, and early cellular phones. It is easy to implement because there is no need for physical multiplexer or demultiplexer. It is difficult to separate a particular frequency from one another. Hence, sometimes the problem of overloading arrives. There is no such bandwidth to assign in case of number of users is large. Next, time division multiplexing. The bit rate of transmission medium always exceeds the required rate of digital signals. This fact is utilized for the time division multiplexing. Time division multiplexing is a digital process in which the total time is divided between several users, and each user of the channel is allowed a time slot during which he is allowed to transmit a message. The channel capacity is fully utilized in case of time division multiplexing by interleaving a number of data streams belonging to different users into one data stream. In this, the data sent through the physical channel must be multiplexed at the sending end. Individual chunk of message sent by each user are assembled into a full message at the receiving ends. This is preferred for digital data communication, such as communication between computers to computer. In case of LAN, TDM can be further subdivided as synchronous and statistical. In case of synchronous, each input connection occupies one time slot, has an allotment into output, even if it is not sending data. If any input time slot is T, then the output time slot is T by N, where N is the number of connections. Then statistical TDM. In case of statistical time division multiplexing, slots are dynamically allocated to only those input connections that have data to send in a round robin fashion. This improves the performance of the channel. Then wavelength division multiplexing. In case of WDM, is conceptually same as frequency division multiplexing, except that the multiplexing and demultiplexing involves optical signals transmitted through fiber optics cable. The data transmission rate is more in case of optical fiber in compared to metallic transmission cable, but using a fiber optics cable for a fiber line wastes the available bandwidth. In this, very narrow band of light from different sources are combined to form a wider band of light. WDM technique is very complex, but the basic idea is very simple. In this, we combine multiple light sources into one single light at the center side. In this, the combining and splitting the light sources are handled by a preamble. WDM is used in case of SONET network. Apart from this, a new method called dense WDM is also used to archive greater frequency, which can multiplex a very large number of channels by spacing channels very close to one another. And at last, we will discuss about network interface card and router. Network interface card are hardware devices, that is a circuit board or chip that are installed on motherboard that establish a physical connection between a computer with the other computers on a network. This allows transferring data, share resources, information, and computer hardware. This converts the computer data into electrical signals and sends the network. Nowadays, network interface cards are also software configured. Then router. Routers are also referred as bridge routers. It is a combination of both the bridge and routers. It will function similar to a bridge for a network transport protocol when forwarding data between networks that are not routable, and will function as a router when routing data to individual systems for routable protocols. It functions at the network and data link layer of the OSI network model. Router functions as a filter that allows some data into the local network and redirects unknown data to the other networks. After having a detailed discussion regarding different networking devices, we conclude that if a user is sound enough and well exposed regarding his requirements, he can select the appropriate networking device for network connectivity. This will enhance the performance and efficiency of the available resources. With this, I remain. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Thank you for your patient hearing. Also suggest the topic of interest you want to explain me in future.